Hello there my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review. So let me get this straight. Yara decided to live 3 to 4 hours away from Jovi's mum, and now she's unhappy that Gwen doesn't come over to help her with the baby regularly. Who had the baby? Was it Gwen? No, it wasn't. It was you and Jovi. Yes, you decided to have the baby. So either move closer or deal with it. Yes, that's right, these guys are back, and it would seem they're being rather unreasonable, as is their way. It's 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after, and unbelievably this couple, Yara and Jovi, is really the only one that I could describe as relatively stable. And I say relatively advisedly. It's very difficult when you have this terrible cast to compare to. And so, before we get into it, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's subscribed to my channel. I really do appreciate it, but if you've yet to do so, consider subscribing. Consider joining the Ebird family. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to smash the like button. Right, so without further ado, I give you Jovi and Yara. So it would seem that COVID fat hasn't bothered to hit Yara and nor has baby weight. Good for her. Baby Mila is now 17 months old, and when we first see this couple, Yara is all dressed up and she's ready to go out. They sit on the sofa and Jovi says, "I definitely don't go to strip clubs like I used to." Well, Jovi, that's because Yara's moved you to the middle of Bumblefuck, and with good reason. So as Yara's getting ready to go out, Jovi's moaning and complaining. He says, "I just got back from work and now I'm stuck with the baby." How lovely, Jovi, to describe time with your daughter as stuck with the baby. And it's set to get worse because then he says, "What, am I the babysitter now?" What, Jovi? It's your own freaking child. You cannot babysit your own freaking child. But then we get to the real reason for his ire. Jovi tells us he doesn't like Yara's new friends, as they stay out all night, and he would like to spend time with her. Guys, this is wild. He works away for 1 to 2 months at a time, and when he's doing it the whole time, she has to stay in with baby Mila. And she explains to him, as if it needed explaining, that she needs adult company. And as much as some might try, there isn't a world in which anyone could describe Jovi as adult company. Jovi looked at Yara and said, "Don't make this a habit." And Yara tells production, "The difference is, I don't go to party, I just go out to have a chat with my friends over dinner or drinks. I don't lose my shit in a strip club." And guys, I'd kind of forgotten why I didn't like Jovi, but it's all flooding back now. And as she's leaving the house, he tries to guilt trip her. "Go on, have fun. Mila and I will stay here." What a little shit. And Jovi tells production, "I don't get to hang out with Fun Yara anymore." But guys, then he says, "In my honest opinion, if we didn't have Mila, we'd more than likely be divorced already." Really, Jovi? Even if that's the case, what an awful thing to say. And so Yara goes out to meet her 2 friends, Symphony and Adele. And these friends are her blonde, identikit friends. And according to Yara, they say just what they think, just the same as she does. And guys, I'm always suspicious of people who say, "I always say what I think, I'm really real." Some thoughts are supposed to be private. You are not supposed to say your every thought. I mean, I know I do, but don't go by me. And so they all have drinks and they discuss Jovi and how unreasonable he is. Yara tells them that Jovi forces her to share location, and she says she's not sure why he has trust issues. But Adele, one of her friends, has a theory, and she says it's because he's not crazy attractive, and at any given time you could meet a rich guy and he'd say, "Come, bring your daughter, come and live with me." Really, girls? Interesting. I've got more than just a few subscribers that would possibly disagree with that. Apparently, single mothers don't deserve high-value men. And then Symphony says, "You're far cuter than him, for sure, and he's at the strip club all night." And it really seems as if these girls do not like Jovi at all. Ladies, let me tell you something. Yara is swapping her looks for Jovi's money and his green card. What's not mathing? It's very simple. And Yara, I really don't care for this side of you. Girls should never be able to talk out the side of their mouth about your husband and the father of your kids. In my mind, that's crazy behaviour. And it's interesting to me that Yara doesn't try in any way to shut it down. But Adele's into her stride now and she says, "Yara, you're absolutely stunning. You could get any guy you want." Well, Adele, she wants Cristiano Ronaldo. She's said so many times before. Can she get him? And then talk turns to sex. And Yara complains that she can't relax during sex. Really? Why? In case baby Mila wakes up? No. Of course not. It's because she wants a boob job. Oh, of course she does. And so they talk on, and it doesn't escape my attention that these girls love the camera. They're sitting there bigging Yara up at every opportunity, telling her that she's the cutest thing that God put breath into, and she's amazing looking. And considering they're both quite good looking girls themselves, it's all just a little bit much. I think they're in this not just to be Yara's friends, but they definitely want that limelight. They definitely want those TLC cameras. But guys, what Yara says next literally has me reeling. She tells the girls that Jovi told her that her tits don't look great. What? Oh Lord, I genuinely want the worst for Jovi. I really do. The very worst. Yeah, I get it. These girls are right. She is too good for Jovi. I genuinely don't understand. There's no excuse for saying something like that. She hasn't put weight on. Fair enough, her boobs might have deflated a bit. But she's feeding your daughter. You know, that little girl. The one you're babysitting for. That one. Well, I guess Yara did say that she likes people who are blunt, honest, and tell the truth. But Jovi really is quite the transparent degenerate. He's a notorious arsehole. And how I forgot this information, I'll never know. So next time we see Yara and Jovi, they're talking as a couple to production. And the upshot of this conversation is as follows. Jovi's bored of staying in all the time. Yara thinks Jovi drinks too much. And Yara would like to chop off his manhood and put it in the trash. Ew. In fact, no, she revises this immediately. Of course, that's disgusting. Instead, she says she'd give it to a dog to eat. And although that's nothing short of gross, it's what I want most in the world for Jovi. And then Yara says that Mrs. Gwen, Jovi's mum, is the only person she trusts to look after Mila. Does that include Jovi? And so apparently there's been an argument between this couple and Gwen, and she hasn't spoken to Yara for 6 months. And so apparently the reason is because last time Jovi went away to work, which was for a month, Gwen didn't come over to see her or Mila for the whole month. And Yara says, when you have kids, you just come round and babysit. And she said, I have nobody to help me because, of course, my mum's in Ukraine, which is thousands of miles away. And so Jovi agrees with Yara, and he said that's how he always envisaged having kids. And guys, as I said earlier, I agree that it's nice to have family and friends around to help with the baby. But Yara chose to live 3 hours away from Gwen. And Yara said, I chose to be a mother, and I absolutely love it, but I do need help. And Jovi tells production, I really need to fix this problem with my mum. It's the first ever argument that we've had. And so the couple are going out wine tasting, and they arrive at the vineyard. They taste the very first wine. And when this wine's to Jovi's liking, i.e. it contains alcohol, he decides to finish the whole bottle. Yara tells him, no, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. It's not to get drunk. It's so we can taste different wines. But by this point, Jovi's too pissed to listen. And so the couple walk around the vineyard, and Yara decides to bring up her want for a boob job. And she says she wants it because they're droopy. And then Jovi admits they weren't the same as they used to be. But he says she still looks good naked. Guys, I'm sitting on ready. Jovi currently resides in my crosshairs. And once again they both talk to production, and Yara says I can't relax during sex. I just don't like how my body looks. Yara, it's probably not how your body looks, it's your partner. Men only grow cold as girls grow old if you have the wrong one. But then Jovi proves me right when he tells production in reality they don't look good. Oh my god, he needs a personality change. There's literally no hope for this person. And then to compound things, he goes in for a bit of good old-fashioned gaslighting. He tells Yara, I hope you don't just want to get them done just because of your friends. What? Jovi, you know who and what Yara is. She came to you with a face full of fillers. She has Botox, she has her lips done. So you know very well it's not that. She looks entirely different from how she used to look. She has a very strong personality. She's not the type of girl to just want something because her friends tell her. But Jovi doubles down on this, and he says if it wasn't for her friends, she wouldn't be talking like this. She would have said so sooner. Jovi, she was breastfeeding. Her breasts were full of milk. You know, in the same way that you're full of shit. Now she wants to replace that milk with silicone. What part don't you understand? Guys, Jovi's taking no responsibility for his own comments on how Yara feels about her boobs, and he's seeking to blame it on her friends. Despicable. So next time we see them, they're going to meet up with Gwen, and they're going for a boat ride. So Yara says that she wants to make up with Gwen, and I actually believe her. Gwen tells producers she was shocked when Jovi took her to task for not helping enough with the baby. and she thought that Yara and she were close enough that Yara could speak to her. And let's not forget, guys, Yara tells us, I speak my mind, I say what I want. Not on this occasion, you haven't. And Gwen says she's really upset and she doesn't see Myla as much as she wants to, and that's hurtful. And I can see it from all sides. I understand that these guys are a young couple, they do need help, but I think instead of just going in on Gwen, they should have actually explained it to her and see if she behaved differently after they made their hopes and desires for their relationship known. And so the trio sit down to talk, and Gwen said, what happened? And then, true to form, Jovi blamed it all on Yara, and he said, I was away for a month, and she didn't see you at all, and she was very upset, and she was complaining to me every day, Mum. And Gwen said, I thought I helped you, but I'm nobody's nanny. And Jovi said, well, I'm sorry I took out all my anger on you. And then Yara explained Ukrainian family dynamics. And she said if my mum were here, she'd be around all the time and I wouldn't even have to ask her to babysit. And she said maybe my expectations were too high. Yup. And Gwen said I don't know what Ukrainian grandmas do, but I'm going to try to be more helpful. And they all hug, and it seems as if it's resolved. But then Yara drops a bombshell, and she says she wants to go back to Ukraine, as she hasn't been there for 3 years. But of course Gwen's unhappy with this, and she says as far as she's concerned, it's very bad timing because of the war between Russia and Ukraine. But it would seem that Yara is still dead set on going. And the final time we see this couple, Yara's very excited because finally she has her interview for her green card. And immediately they both start worrying about the interview questions and what they might be asked. And Jovi said they're going to ask all sorts of questions. But strangely, neither one of them have gone to any sort of website to find out what these questions might be. And they both ask each other what their favourite colours are and their favourite foods. And so Yara goes to a cafe to talk to her mum and tell her the good news. And they discuss her going home to Ukraine. And the other alternative is for Yara to go to Prague, which I've got to say is a beautiful city. And Yara explains to her mum that Biden has said not to go to Ukraine at the moment because of the situation. And I've got to say I have to agree. But apparently her sisters are in Ukraine and she wants to see the whole family. I personally would avoid it, but I guess it's preferable than Southside Diego. And that's where we leave things for this week. So what does the Ebird make to all of this? Well, I thought we were never going to see the return of Jovi being the substance-ingesting, neon liquid drinking, random coochie salivating, bourbon street pissing, nano-responsible frequenter of those on the pole. And that's possibly true, but what have we got instead? We've got gaslighting, blame-passing, body-shaming Jovi instead. I don't know which is worse. Jovi, it would seem, is a very blunt tool. It seems he doesn't want Yara to have a boob job, and so instead of thinking, how can I change the way she feels about her body, he decides to body shame her. He tells her breasts don't look what they used to. And he's also still, albeit rather infrequently, going to strip clubs. And as everybody knows, that's the mark of somebody who likes, how can we say, a surgically enhanced, very perfect body. How is this going to help Yara at all? It's not. And then also Jovi decided to blame completely on Yara the whole problem with Gwen. And he said, well, Yara was moaning so much, I had to say something. Jovi, why didn't you just say, we both felt, or Mum, I felt that you weren't supporting my wife as much as you might be. I'd forgotten what an idiot Jovi is, but very quickly I'm reminded. And as for Gwen, well, although lots of people are saying she should be more helpful, I agree to some extent, but I do think if you live 3 hours each way from your mother-in-law, you cannot expect her to just drop in and babysit at the drop of a hat. If you needed help, why didn't you drive the 3 hours with baby Myla and go and stay at Gwen's for a few days? Phone lines and cars go both ways. But it seems that Gwen wants to sort things out, so I think she's going to be a little bit more helpful in the future. But I think this couple should consider moving closer to Gwen when the lease on their apartment comes up. I think if Gwen knew sooner that there was a problem, she would have tried to help a little bit sooner. But the first thing she heard about it was when Jovi started shouting at her and advising her that she wasn't doing enough. And finally we have Yara. It's unsurprising to me that she wants more plastic surgery, and I think she's going to keep on moaning until she gets that boob job. But I also think that Jovi's going to give in pretty quickly, so I don't think it's that big a deal. But I can understand why Jovi doesn't like her new friends, because it seems they have nothing but ire for him and negative thoughts. And the only reason they're so negative, I think, about Jovi is because Yara's told them so. Although to some extent he does deserve the bad press he's getting, because I think as soon as somebody says something like, your boobs aren't what they used to be, that person's friends are going to go in on that guy. I know I would. And so guys, Let me know what you think. Do you think that Yara and Jovi are out of order for living so far away from Gwen, but yet still expecting Gwen to be on hand to babysit? And finally, I know you're going to enjoy this, what do you think of Jovi and his awful statements regarding Yara's body? To me, his body shaming is pretty much the final straw for Jovi. I had thought this couple were, I don't know, kind of on the right path, but I'm really not sure. Jovi seems to have no filter and he doesn't seem to worry about how Yara feels at all. He describes having to look after his own daughter as babysitting. Who does that? And he also doesn't seem to understand Yara's need for going out with her friends. So guys, let me know what you think in comments down below, and I'm going to get on with my new video. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make Ebird a happy Ebird, and I'll see you soon. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.